They did not leave you. They did not cheat on you. They did something worse. They kept you, but stopped being glad that you are there. You are not hated, you are not mistreated, you are tolerated. And if you have ever walked into a room where your partner is sitting and felt that in your bones that your presence didn't change the temperature of that room by even 1 degree, then you already know exactly what I'm talking about. This is the loneliness no one validates, because from the outside everything looks intact. You are together, you are functioning, you are coexisting under the same roof with reasonable civility. And if you told anyone that I think my partner just tolerates me, they would say at least they are still there. As if presence is the same as desire, as if being kept is the same as being chosen. But you feel the difference. You feel in the way they look at you, or more accurately, the way they look through you. The way your name lands in their mouth, flat, functional, stripped of every frequency it used to carry. The way they include you in plans the same way they would include a calendar reminder, necessary, automatic, and completely without excitement. So being tolerated by the person who once chose you is not a relationship, it's an arrangement. And today I'm going to break down exactly how celebration dies, what replaces it, and the signs that you have been downgraded from partner to an obligation. So here's what happens. In the early stages of a relationship, your presence is an event. You walk into the room and something shifts. Their eyes track you, their energy lifts, their body orients toward you. Not because they're performing, but because your proximity triggers something neurological. Anticipation, pleasure, safety. You are a source of activation in their nervous system. But over time, through unresolved resentment, emotional neglect, accumulated disappointments, or simply the slow erosion of curiosity, that activation fades. Your presence stops being an event and becomes a condition, a background constant like furniture, like the sound of the refrigerator humming, technically present, functionally invisible. And the worst part isn't that they stopped loving you. The worst part is that they stopped noticing you. Because you can argue with someone who is angry at you. You can fight for someone who's pulling away. But what do you do when someone just doesn't react to you at all? A woman, 38, married for 12 years, told me something that stayed with me long after the conversation ended. She said that I planned a surprise dinner for his birthday, cooked for 3 hours, set the table with candles, put on something nice. When he came home, he looked at the table and said, "Oh, nice," and sat down and started scrolling his phone while eating. He didn't say it wasn't appreciated. He just received it the way you receive a package you forgot you ordered. Like no resistance, no complaint, no absolute joy. She didn't cry when she told me this. That's what struck me. She was past crying. She described it the way someone describes a fact they have already accepted, like weather, like gravity. She said, I could disappear for a week, and he had noticed the logistical gap before he noticed me. The kids wouldn't be picked up on time, the groceries wouldn't be done, the schedule would collapse. But me, the person, I don't think he would ever feel the absence. He would feel the inconvenience. This is what toleration feels like from the inside. You haven't been abandoned, you have been demoted. Demoted from a person who was celebrated to a function that is maintained. Your value hasn't disappeared. It's been reclassified. You are no longer the source of joy. You are the source of operational stability. And those two things feel so different from the inside that they might as well be different relationships entirely. So what's actually happening when celebration dies and toleration takes its place? There is a concept in behavioral psychology called hedonic adaptation. It's the brain's tendency to return to a baseline level of satisfaction regardless of positive changes in circumstances. It explains why lottery winners aren't happier a year later, why a new house stops feeling exciting after 6 months, and why the person who once made your heart race can eventually become someone your nervous system barely registers. But hedonic adaptation alone doesn't explain the full picture. Because in healthy relationships, couples counteract adaptation through what researchers call active capitalization. That's the practice of responding to your partner's good news, achievements, moments of joy with genuine enthusiasm, curiosity, and engagement. Not polite acknowledgement, genuine celebration. When active capitalization is present, when your partner shares something and your face lights up, when you ask questions, when you mirror their excitement, the bond stays activated. The brain continues to associate this person with reward, with pleasure, with emotional aliveness. When it's absent, when good news is met with indifference, when achievements are met with, "That's nice," when excitement is met with flatness, the brain begins to reclassify the partner, not as a threat, not as an enemy, as neutral. And neutral is the most dangerous category in any relationship, because you can recover from conflict, you can recover from anger, you cannot easily recover from irrelevance. Once the brain files someone as emotionally neutral, so reactivating that response requires more effort than the most couples know how to generate. And this is why toleration feels so uniquely unbearable. It's not that your partner dislikes you, it's that your presence has become neurologically meaningless to them. You trigger nothing. And being with someone who triggers nothing while remaining and remembering a time when you triggered everything is a grief that has no name. 5 signs that you are being tolerated, not celebrated. Sign number 1. Your accomplishments are met with polite indifference. You got the promotion, you finished the project, you hit a personal goal, and their response was a nod, a congrats, maybe a one-line text. No follow-up questions, no visible pride, no moment where they stopped and genuinely acknowledged what you did. Polite indifference is the signature of toleration. It's not cruel enough to confront. It's not warm enough to feel like love. It sits in that devastating middle ground where you can't accuse them of anything, but you feel everything. Sign number 2. They don't initiate anything that involves just the two of you. Date nights happen because you planned them. Conversations happen because you started them. Physical closeness happens because you reach first. If you stop initiation tomorrow, every form of connection between you and them simply stops. Not because they would refuse it, because it wouldn't occur to them. So when someone celebrates you, they seek you out. When someone tolerates you, they wait for you to appear. And the difference between being sought and being waited for, that's the entire difference between partnership and coexistence. Sign number 3, their energy visibly shifts around other people. Watch what happens when a friend calls, when a colleague drops by, when they interact with almost anyone who isn't you. There is this brightness, a responsiveness, a version of them that seems more alive, more present, more engaged. And then they turn back to you and the light dims. Not dramatically, subtly, just enough for you to feel it. Just enough for you to wonder, what does everyone else get that I don't? The answer isn't complicated. Everyone else is still novel. You have become expected. And expected things don't activate the brain the way unexpected things do. Unless someone is actively working to keep the spark alive. And they are not. Sign number 4, they describe you in functional terms. Listen how they talk about you to others. She handles everything at home. He's great with kids, she keeps things running. These sound like compliments, they are not. They are job descriptions. A person who celebrates you, describes you in terms of who you are, your humor, your mind, your warmth, your presence. A person who tolerates you describes you in terms of what you do, your utility, your function, your operational value. The language tells you everything. If you have become a role instead of a person in their vocabulary, you have been filed under useful, not cherished. Sign number 5, you feel the need to justify your presence. This is the deepest sign. You have started unconsciously performing, cooking more, cleaning more, being more agreeable, laughing louder at their jokes, making yourself smaller, easier, less demanding. Because somewhere deep down you have internalized the belief that your presence alone isn't enough anymore. That if you stop being useful, you will become dispensable. That the only reason you are still here is because you serve a function. The moment you start earning your place in a relationship that should be giving it to you freely, you have already answered the question you are afraid to ask. You are being tolerated and you know it. So here's what no one says out loud. Toleration isn't a phase, it's a verdict. It's what remains when admiration has been withdrawn, when curiosity has expired, when the emotional effort required to celebrate you has been deemed not worth the energy. And the hardest part isn't that they stopped celebrating you, it's that you adjusted. You lowered the bar. You told yourself that this is what long-term love or marriage looks like. Quieter, calmer, less exciting. You called it maturity. But maturity doesn't feel like invisibility. Stability doesn't feel like irrelevance. And love, real love, doesn't require you to shrink yourself into a function just to justify being in the room. If this is where you are right now, the repair doesn't start with them, it starts with you. Not because it's your fault, but because you are the one who has been adjusting, accommodating, and slowly accepting a version of love that doesn't include being seen. So stop performing. Stop overfunctioning. Stop filling every silence with effort designed to prove your value. And instead, say the thing you have been afraid to say. I feel like I am tolerated here. Not wanted, tolerated. That sentence will either wake them up or confirm what you already know. So either way, it ends the ambiguity, and ambiguity is where self-worth goes to die. If they hear it, really hear it, and something behind their eyes shifts, there is a foundation to rebuild on. If they hear it and their response is defensive, dismissive, or indifference, then the answer was given to you long before you asked the question. And the bravest thing you can do is stop accepting a seat at a table where your plate is always empty. You were not built to be tolerated. You were not designed to be someone's operational convenience. You were not put in this life to shrink yourself into something easy to maintain but impossible to miss. The right person doesn't tolerate your presence. They feel it when you are gone. They notice when you walk in. They celebrate you not because you performed, but because you exist. And if the person you are with has forgotten that, maybe it's time you remembered it for yourself.